We've got to do it in concrete ways. So there's a $20 billion gap between majority white schools and majority non-white schools. How is that right? How is that fair? It's not fair. It's not right. We got to tackle these things. Okay? Inequality has gotten worse and worse and worse. Oh, in the 1960s, the average CEO made 25 times more than the average worker. When I was a kid here, and when I was in high school, early 90s, it was 65 times more than the average worker. You know what it is today? 320. 320 times more than the average worker. The benefits of this economy have gone tremendously to the wealthiest 1% and to CEOs. And there's a problem there. And it's happened because you have a senator who undermines unions, who undermines collective bargaining, who has wanted to give more and more tax breaks to the wealthiest, more and more power to the wealthiest. And it's hurting all of us because wages in Kentucky haven't increased in 2 decades. Meanwhile, the price of prescription medicine has gone up, the price of healthcare has gone up, the price of housing's gone up, the price of everything's gone up. And it's making people have more and more inequality. So we need to have policies that help that. Things like universal pre-K. Oh my gosh, being a mom, I get it. I mean, we gotta have it. We're the only developed nation in the world that doesn't have this. Paid family leave. These are basic things that would help people. We've got to tackle college debt so that you don't have to go to college and then get saddled with debt for the next 25 years. Seriously. And we can do this by investing in education, by getting people like Secretary Betsy DeVos out of office, all right? By investing in our teachers, by protecting them and making sure that their pensions are protected. And when you go back to coronavirus aid, one thing I didn't mention why it's so important to have aid for state and local governments, guess what? That's your pensions. That's your pensions. So that's why that's so important. We've got to invest in us. That's what I want to do. So that's the fourth thing. And the fifth thing is probably the most important. Because all of these things we're not going to be able to do unless we do the fifth thing. And that's tackle corruption in Washington. And I know that a lot of people talk about it. Mitch McConnell has built a system that is not working. Think about the fact, and I know we're all thinking about the Supreme Court right now and Justice Ginsburg. Think about the fact that when Justice Ginsburg was confirmed, she was confirmed 96-3. That was a different time. Think about what Mitch McConnell has built. A Congress, a Senate that is so partisan, they can't do anything that is not on partisan lines. So dysfunctional, so torn up, can't get anything done. He built that. Mitch McConnell wasn't in charge when Justice Ginsburg was confirmed, because that was back in the day when things worked. He built a system that's not working. And it's that corruption system. So how do you tackle it? You get dark money out of politics. You end Citizens United. 2/3 of the commercials that you see for Mitch McConnell right now are super PAC dark money commercials. And how do I know that? My mom lives here and she tells me everything about all the commercials, trust me. I know all the bad ones. But it's wrong, and here's why it's wrong. There's no transparency. We don't know who's paying for these commercials. We don't know who he owes things to. That's the problem. We don't know what entity, what corporation, what person. We don't even know what country. Think about that. How American is that? I'm tired of it. We've got to tackle this. We got to have term limits, all right? Because nobody should be in office in the same seat for 42 years. Nobody. Not me, not you, not Mitch, not anybody. It's wrong. It's not going to fix everything, but it's going to move us in the right direction. So we've got to do some basic things like that. We've got to protect voting rights. Why is that so important? When I served in the military, I served to protect all Americans' voting rights. All Americans' voting rights. Voting is not just a privilege, it is a right that you have. And so this 12-hour window on a random Tuesday in November in Kentucky to vote, it actually disenfranchises a lot of people. We've got to do better. We've got to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Why? This is so important. If I were in the Senate right now, it'd be done yesterday. We've got to do these things. So tackling corruption in Washington can be done, but it starts with getting rid of Mitch McConnell, okay? And the last thing I'll just say, two more things, and I promise I won't talk very long.